welcome. I'm Buddy, and welcome to Bud's maintenance, Bud's lawnmower maintenance and repair. Here I got somebody gave me a 4 horsepower Briggs & Stratton, Quantro. Now it doesn't run, and there's many reasons for that, as I can see here. I removed the gas tank, and this is the one with the plastic carburetor on top of the gas tank, and between the carburetor and the gas tank is a diaphragm. And then the diaphragm could be bad because actually the diaphragm stretches out. There's 5 screws that hold the carburetor on between the carburetor and the gas tank onto this in between, and the 5 screws sometimes isn't enough. And the diaphragm, it's actually, this is the diaphragm that came off it right here. That's a diaphragm. It's in 2 sections, and it more or less looks like a gasket. But what it acts as a fuel pump, and it sits in right here. And then you got your carburetor that goes on top. As you can see, this carburetor, what they did with it, they're having trouble with the primer button, which I got a new primer button. That's a new primer button, and I'll show you how that goes on. What they did with this carburetor right here is they have a crack in the primer button. It's ripped. Somebody put a piece of plastic on there. Another reason why it's probably not running, because when I tried to prime it, it doesn't work. So you take this piece off. I should clean the carburetor first, but I'll show you how this goes on anyway. And then you take a screwdriver, you pop that out there, you press it in, pop it out right there, and on the other side. And then your primer button comes off. Like that. And this is the old primer button. You can actually see the crack right there. I hold this up close enough to see it. And when you're trying to prime it, we ain't going to get no gasoline there because there's air and everything in the way. That's sealed. So that's garbage. You can't just put plastic on it and think it's going to hold. It don't. You get another one. They're very cheap primer buttons. And I'll just discard this later. And best thing to do before you clean this carburetor, this little plastic carburetor, this piece, it's the intake where the gas goes up as you're priming it, and it goes through the diaphragm and all. So just, it's a little hard, but it just sort of snap off. Sometimes you gotta, things don't always work the way they want sometimes. You take a little rag or take a towel, or you can get a little, there, snaps right off. And you clean out with carburetor cleaner, blow through it with some air, not with your mouth, I mean with a can of air, or if you have an air compressor. I usually use an air compressor. And take this spring off, because when you start blowing around with your air compressor, you lose that spring and you gotta go hunting for it. That's the spring that goes onto the diaphragm and puts pressure on it so the gas pumps up. Okay? And this screen you can take off or leave on. It's dirty. This carburetor is very dirty. The best thing, sometimes I blow it first. Some compressed air. No, actually, you can blow it here on my phone, because I didn't put the primer button on yet. Blow inside. And now that stem, the intake stem, blow a little through there. Now we can spray some carburetor cleaner, which I got in my little workbench here. Here's carburetor gum out. Carbon choke cleaner. That's good. Good stuff. And then I'll grab my carburetor. I'll spray that. Okay. frame here. All the little ports. Some people use a little piece of wire, thin wire, to go in a lot of ports, especially on the other carburetors. This little plastic one don't have too many ports. Okay. Bolt some air. Okay. And this is how the new diaphragms come when you buy new ones. They come in plastic. And they're standard. This is you go by the part number. This is 22-7721, which is the same one as I have here. I might as well change it because if I go all together, putting everything back together and it not working, you know what I'm saying? And just take it apart again and do everything all over again and take it apart. It's like doing double work. So for something that maybe runs maybe a couple bucks, throw it on. And here you go. And here's your new primer button, which goes in just like this. You can see. There's two little clips. This thing comes apart. See? This is the holder. So you can put the primer button on like this first. In there. And then take the holder, just like this. And then you press it in with a screwdriver till it lines up. And then there's two little slots here. There's a slot there. And it'll line up. And it goes right in. You'll hear it like snap when I put it in. But don't put a hole as you do this in your button. Just a little bit each side, a little bit so it's tight. Hear that clip? The lawnmower's right here, by the way. You can't see it. Come on, get in there. There, hear a clip? Yeah, it's in there. Okay, now it looks normal. And the gas tank, I can't tell you a lot on here because otherwise it won't come out right, the camera thing. But this was dirty in a carburetor here, on the gas tank where the carburetor goes. So it would clog up the carburetor, this dirt was in one here. This was been laying around a long time. I dumped out any old gas. Then I'll clean this out with air. And put the new diaphragm on, which also acts as a gasket and fuel pump, and the carburetor right on top. Alright, you have a good day, people. If you ever want to talk to me, you could email me at buds, B-U-D-S, maint, M-A-I-N-T, supply, S-U-P-P-L-Y, at AOL.com. You can give me a buzz if you have any questions about some lawnmower maintenance or whatever, you know. Just say hi. Take care.